Good. Money, right? A CFO looks at their IT budget and sees hundreds of yearly maintenance and enhancement fees for dozens or hundreds of applications. Any advice on how to access whether or not they're getting the benefit from all of that spend? And once doing that, what do we do with it? So, besides get an iPaaS system, but Catherine, yes.
I think I said it before, you have to be mindful of who has the decision to go make that purchase. I think Stephen mentioned it earlier. I'll be honest, I was at a bank, I'm not going to say which one. We were looking at one solution internally for something, and we went and looked at who else had purchased it. 9 people had purchased the exact same thing, had paid the exact same annual license for that same service. And it was like, how did we not know this? And so and that was just a $1,000 purchase, but it was 9,000. Well, that's happening with multi-million-dollar systems. I remember having to sit down with a group of executives and tell them they were paying for 4 different Salesforce instances. They could have all been in one. And so there's a lack of communication when it comes to what the end user needs, all the way up to IT, and then including the CFO and COO to say, here's everything already in our network. It's quite possible you can leverage or find usability across existing applications. You just aren't aware they exist. And to me, that's probably the quickest, easiest way for cost savings, in addition to looking at your user licenses, because there are a lot of unpaid or unused licenses that people are paying for that they just don't need.
Since we're at the hour here, I want to combine the last statement and let everybody kind of give their with the one we just spoke about. But and we've covered a lot of points of this, but new systems can be scary to users and executives, and it is overwhelming connecting the dots, and that's what an iPaaS does. But how does iPaaS calm this process financially and functionally? Mark?
You know, from a calming standpoint, I mean, I think the thing that's going to be most calm to anybody in this world is that solutions get built faster and cheaper and more reliably. You know, so that's the real kind of nugget that we're all after, and it's not easy to do. It's not easy to do, especially at scale. But I think that's the calming effect, is the value add.
Adam?
Yeah, well, change management is huge in any software project. And the more projects I'm involved in, the more I realize how much more of our time budget should be put towards the change management as opposed to the technical. And obviously we can do that now with low code. But yeah, taking the pain and the scariness for the end user, but also out of the developers who then have to think, right, how do I integrate into this ancient system? When you can use an iPaaS solution, it calms that fear.
Derek?
So again, it's a mind shift of, I've seen this countless times where a company will have a handful of IT staff who can do development work. And so they'll say, well, we'll just have them develop it, and it takes them 2 years to do it, and it's half there, instead of just biting the bullet and paying the license fee, getting it done quickly, and having something that does exactly what you're trying to do. It's a mind shift of embracing that. But once that does happen, I think they'll recognize the amount of money that's saved in the long run, the ROI of that time saving and specific niche that it covers.
Stephen?
I would say it's a shift in software in general. I think that before we were going out to buy a rigid tool that had 1, 2, 3, maybe however many tricks, right? Now, what we're saying is we're buying a platform that can build whatever you need very, very rapidly, versus, hey, we're buying this one tool and you got an upgrade coming, or we're buying this one tool and you want another tool, you got to buy another one, right? So it's just a shift in the way software works, and trying to get those that are in the buying seat to understand is the battle.
Tom?
Yeah, thank you. Most of my career has been in helping the users to adopt and implement technology and to alleviate anxiety of using new technology. But now it seems like the anxiety is in the IT department and senior management, because if you allow citizens to just develop tools, you have to have ground rules, you have to have policies. And I think when we have a good platform that allows for things like data governance and company policies to be very clearly defined, I'll go back to that sandbox analogy or the playground. It's not a free-for-all. There are rules. And so these tools allow senior management and IT departments to set the boundaries and to set the rules and to allow others in the organization to do their job better. It is definitely a competitive advantage.
All right, Michael?
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I think, from my standpoint of view, it's, getting in there, addressing the problems, or at least identifying the problems, and then engaging with the buyers, senior leadership, to, just say, hey, look, this is what we're facing, seen and unseen. How do we move forward? How do we then spend this money, spend this time and this effort to help solve our problems? I think it's just really about communication.
Catherine?
Edward, maybe Catherine can be the last. Yeah, maybe the last one, since we're a few minutes over here. Thank you.
What I will just add is, no matter who I talk to, someone's either recently acquired and implemented a software or is already thinking about the next one they want. Every company is going to go through that cycle because most applications last 3 to 5 years before there's some other solution needed. Knowing that that's going to be the cycle, and I feel like that's going to speed up over the next decade or two. If you have your integration established, it won't matter what you're plugging and playing. The core of your systems, the core of that data, the core of the usability stays the same, and that actually will set you up for quicker implementations and quicker migration in the future.